This podcast is sponsored by Magic Rock Brewing. Currently, you can get free delivery on all orders over £40 and 10% of all online orders by using our code of TakesThatChance10.
Christopher Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Brady down the left and Moy stayed onside. Here's Mounier! 2-0 Huddersfield Town on the opening day of the Premier League. 1-2 wicket Tunga. Here's Moy, right-footed. 1-0 Huddersfield Town. Lindelof misses his header. De Quattro's in. Round De Gea. 2-0 Huddersfield Town. 2-0 Huddersfield Town. Here's Sanka to turn it into the pass. Yes! And Cummins scored. Cummins has scored one of the most important goals of Huddersfield Town's history. De Quattro's forward. De Quattro's got the better. Yes! And Laurent De Quattro scores. Laurent De Quattro scores.
Great, and we're recording. So I'm joined on the line by Harley Thorne from FanHub. Harley, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for joining us. So just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about FanHub. As our listeners all know, we've partnered with yourselves recently. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you got involved with the project?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess you could say I embody the project. Really, it's a part of me. I'm really passionate about it. In a previous life, I spent a lot of my, night hours recording a Bristol Rovers podcast with my mates. So I'm really passionate about fan content. And I think that it's really the way the world is going, and that fans really love hearing from other fans rather than kind of sanitized content from the media and from the clubs. I think it's more honest and more passionate, really. So that's kind of the angle I came at it from initially. I discovered that my co-founder was basically working on it already, and I couldn't wait to get stuck in. So we believe that what we're building now is a platform that will not only enable fan content creators, like I previously was, to earn the reward organically, but also reward other fans of football. And I'm, in general, really passionate about fans. I think the game is nothing without them. And as I'm sure we're going to go on to, it's football without fans in the stadium just isn't the same.
No, it's really not. I mean, especially with how good I follow is, which is not very. You mentioned you're a Bristol Rovers fan. Can you remember the last time we played each other? Because I had to do a bit of research.
To be honest, I don't think I can. It must have been quite some time ago.
It was March 2011, and we beat you 1-0 with a goal from Jordan Rhodes. So again, that shows you how long ago it was.
I do vaguely remember it, I think. Was that in League One then, I assume, yeah?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Been long time. So anyway, can you tell our listeners a little bit more about what FanHub is?
Yeah, sure. So first and foremost, we're a business that's built from the belief that fans deserve more for their contribution to the game, really. So when you look at English football, it's massive on a global scale, as Huddersfield fans will certainly know, having been in the Premier League so recently. The game over here is watched by a global audience, and the reason I believe that is the fans, because of the traditions, the rivalries. We're really a special set over here, really. And the problem is that fans get monetized at every turn. If you look at the massive corporations that are involved with the football industry, they just suck money out of the game. And we believe that fans deserve more recognition for the part they play as the stakeholder they are, really. They're the only ones that don't receive any money. And that, I think, needs to change, really, because they only spend on attending games, but they don't receive anything back from it. And whilst clubs, I think, they're getting better at recognising their fans, it's basically ingrained within every club to try and monetize their fans in order to generate more revenue, right? There's an underlying disconnect between them. And so what we believe is that the way to resolve that problem is to build a platform by fans for fans that they not just have control over, but have ownership of, really. Because until the fans are given ownership of something, it's just not going to represent them. So yeah, we're really passionate about putting fans first, and FanHub is ultimately where fans do come first.
Yeah, and obviously we put out that we've partnered with yourself. Can you tell us a little bit more about that mission statement of fans first?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are both, me and Gareth, the co-founder. He's a really passionate Middlesbrough fan. I'm a really passionate Bristol Rovers fan. This is by fans for fans, essentially. We think that fans deserve to have value given back to them rather than extracted from them. And if you look at every business around football, it's the opposite, right? They're just looking at ways that they can get money out of fans' pockets. But football was built by the working class. And so to take more cash out of their pockets, and, you see ticket prices, but ticket prices aren't the only place where fans are having value extracted from them. It actually costs more to travel by train to the games. So and like I've said before, whilst the clubs, I don't say that every club doesn't care about their fans, because I honestly think that some clubs do, and they're trying to do things differently. But at the end of the day, their bottom line is affected by how much fans give them, and that creates a disconnect. So our business is solely focused on the mission of putting fans first, to see fans recognized and rewarded for their passion and for their loyalty. And that applies to both content creators like yourself that are fans, giving fans a voice and putting themselves out there and showing that kind of passion that you don't get from local journalism, but also to the average fan that just travels to games or watches from home. And as I'm sure we'll go on to, we've built an app that we believe does that. But that's only the beginning of what we're doing, really.
Yeah, and you mentioned the app. It's almost as if you've read my questions. But can you tell us a little bit about the app and like the features of it and what fans can expect if they want to sign up?
Absolutely. So our two pillars are recognition and reward. And focusing on the recognition aspect, fans are a competitive bunch, right? And their loyalty and their passion will always kind of come forward. So with our app, you basically prove your loyalty to your club and get recognized for it. So essentially, there are several key features, but the ones to shout about are: you predict the lineup, which proves your knowledge and therefore shows your manager. So let's say if you're a real fan, like I'm a Bristol Rovers fan and you're a Huddersfield fan, I'm sure you know who's been injured on the Tuesday if they've been training, and you know what the manager's thinking because he's not keen on X player. And so we were keen on making an app that actually proves a form of loyalty, right? And not just that, but it's different. We don't want to be a betting app, right? We don't want to be, well, we're not a gambling app. Essentially what we are is you predict the lineup and you prove your knowledge, and based on obviously the outcome, you accrue a fan score out of 100. Now that fan score represents your loyalty to your club, so your lineup prediction plays a part in that. Checking in at games and traveling miles to watch your team contributes to that, and also your content consumption. So we believe that it proves loyalty to your club if you listen to the latest fans podcast or read the latest fans blog. So we'll kind of showcase fan content within our app, and based on how much of it you engage with, that will contribute to that fan score, which represents your loyalty. As the season goes on, you'll build that fan score and you'll compete not just against other Huddersfield fans, but you'll compete against all fans across England, essentially. But on top of that, there's also a club leaderboard. So you represent your club as well. So you'll finally find out essentially who's actually got the best fans. So it's not about the numbers. It's about how much loyalty people are showing to their club, right? And I should reiterate, this is obviously the first version. We think we've got a hell of a lot of features in there, and we think it's really cool. But this is only the beginning. We're going to continue building something here that really allows fans to support their club, and not just makes it fun, but sees you actually recognised, which you can't get anywhere else.
I mean, it all sounds good. I'm worried I might not be as big as fan I think of when they start tuning in. But
Absolutely.
in terms of, you mentioned the rewards. What kind of, you don't have to reveal everything, but what kind of rewards could fans expect?
Taking all my secrets. No, we're very transparent, to be honest. That's what we're all about, is the fact that we're building something by fans for fans, and every fan that listens to this, if they've kept listening to me for this long, what we're building is for you. So the reward element comes from the fact that what we're building is essentially, like I've said before, right? We think that the media suck cash out of clubs, and in turn, clubs are forced to suck cash out of fans. So basically, fans are being monetized by everyone. We can't change the media from doing that, but what we can do is build our own media giant and then give fans ownership of it, so that instead of a media giant taking cash from you and spamming you with ads, your content is basically owned by you, right? So essentially what happens in our app is, and you'll see it, there's explainer videos within the app, so it'll make a lot more sense. But the simplest way I can explain it is, by checking in at games and proving your loyalty, you'll be awarded with tokens which represent a share of the FanHub brand, essentially. So you're given ownership of the FanHub brand. So the more you support your club, and the same for content creators, I should say. So as a content creator, you will earn shares in the business based on your engagement within the app. And then what that does is, down the line in the future, there's no intention immediately to do this. It's at least 6 months, there'll be no kind of marketing within it. But down the line, we'll partner with brands that can offer value to fans. And the revenue that generates will go back to the holders of those tokens. So essentially at every turn, we are giving back to fans for the part they've played in not just building out that community within FanHub, but the content they create and basically their passion. It's enabling fans to generate value from their loyalty. Because like I've said, loyalty is incredibly valuable to the clubs and to Sky Sports, frankly. But why not get the value back yourself by owning it? And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it springs to mind the pay-per-view stuff that was often in the Premier League and how fans have, boycotted that. But yeah, just an interesting one. I suppose this might be interesting for our listeners. There's quite a few Huddersfield Town fan podcasts out there now. Why did you choose us?
Can I just say I loved your graphics on the website and stuff. I'm not sure who does that, but honestly,
oh Matt, you've just fed Max ego massively there.
They are some cracking graphics. We've partnered with a lot of content creators like yourselves, but your graphics are really awesome. So yeah, big fan of that. That certainly caught the eye. But ultimately, once you listen to a few, you can tell that you're real fans that are doing it for the love of your club. And we partner with fans that really do it, what we believe, for the right reasons. You've got the fans at heart, and what you're doing is trying to give an alternative voice that's what's the way of saying it? Basically, it's raw and it's authentic, and ultimately that's what we're trying to do here, is build a platform where people like you that are giving fans a voice, you don't need to kind of sell out, because that tempts so many content creators. I feel like you think you need to go further because the platform doesn't allow you to naturally get the reward that your efforts deserve. And what we think we've done is built something that gives you ownership of your content without giving it away.
I see. So it wasn't for me being shirtless the other week to raise money for food banks. It's fine, Harley. I'm not.
No, but that's good to hear either way. That's also really good to hear, and I'm sure it didn't do you any. It didn't put you out of the job.
Well, it didn't. I don't think people wanted to see my topless torso anyway. But so what? I suppose with our partnership, because you mentioned we're part of the FanHub. Is it 100 accredited? Is that the right?
Yeah.
Cool. What does the partnership mean for our listeners to the podcast? Are you going to take over? I know you're not, but if you could tell the listeners what it means.
The FanHub 100 is basically our community of fans that are creating content. Well, real fans that are creating raw, authentic, passionate content that we believe to be smashing it, really, to put it simply. We partner with one per club just to work closely and help us to get the word out to fans so that they can see the benefits of using this app, really. No, we don't take any content. And in fact, that kind of allows me to say that that's exactly what we don't do, really. So if you think about, as a listener would know, you're probably listening via Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and they haven't taken control of your content, right? They just show it. And that's ultimately what we'll do. So we'll give you an alternative platform to listen to the podcast on and read the blogs via. And the difference with us, of course, is that by using us, you will basically earn reward for doing so, not just for yourself, but for the creator that's creating it. And that allows the person that deserves to be rewarded for their passion to be. And they retain complete control of their content. So we think it's really organic and it's authentic, really. And it means that people don't have to seek after, sponsorship and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. And I suppose this is a bit of a difficult question, but I mean, this all sounds great, but I suppose what we're kind of keen to find out is how do you guys kind of, make money from it? Like, what do you guys get from it? You mentioned that you'll partner with brands potentially further down the line, but I think our listeners would be keen to know a little bit more about that without, going into too extremes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's no intent. We're not looking to monetize the app until we've built the community, essentially, because we're all about the fans that we're bringing into the community. So we don't want to advertise in that way. But what is great to kind of make clear here is that sponsorship and ads like that are completely against what we're about. So our platform is intended on generating value for fans and allowing them to get value back from their own passion and loyalty. So the way we'll partner with brands down the line is obviously TBC to an extent, but the intention is that we'll allow brands that are talking about giving value back to you, right? So if you're able to be given an exclusive deal at an away day that lets you travel for cheaper or stay for cheaper, we could partner with them. You get something back from it as a fan. FanHub generates revenue, and ultimately, as the owners of FanHub, we have some take, don't get me wrong, but also that will come back to the owners of those tokens. So the better FanHub does, the better for fans that own it.
No, thanks for answering that. So I suppose just I don't want to keep you any longer. Just before we get off, is there anything else you kind of want to add to tell our listeners? Or thanks for kind of spreading the word about what we're doing. Really appreciate it. It's really good to have you on board. We've probably got 48 club content creators partnered with us now, which is really an amazing turnout. And we're really confident that with that team behind us, we're going to kind of explode onto the scene. And the more we can do so, the more fans can be rewarded quickly, right? But also thanks to Huddersfield fans who really took to it. I'd say we've got a lot of sign-ups to our early access list. And that's really important because, the quicker we can get it out to fans, the quicker they'll be rewarded, but the quicker we can take this on to the next level. So appreciate the support. And if you haven't already signed up, I'm sure the link will be in the description, but do sign up for early access to FanHub. And that should be out mid-December-ish, I believe. Things move occasionally, but we're hoping mid-December. So we're working tirelessly to get that done, and hope to see you all in there and see you representing Huddersfield, who, with the take up so far on the early access, I think we'll be fighting at the top of the fan league. Very nice, very nice. Well, as you kind of mentioned, Matt will be on your podcast having a little chat, so obviously we'll look out for that. But yeah, no, thank you very much for joining us, Harley. Appreciate it.
No worries. Yeah, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it. And up the Huddersfield. I don't know what you guys say.
Up the town, but we'll let you off, mate. Soon as you're over. Anyway, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
Oh, what a night! Late in May in 2017. Schindler scored, it was a effing dream. What a feeling, what a night. Oh, what a night. our Premier League. The greatest sight St. George's Square did see. What an evening, what a night. Oh, I got a funny feeling when he walks and a fence, and then the commentator yelled he takes that chance. Oh, what a night, lost so safe and mesmerizing me. Low, low charge and flattened all Chelsea. Stamford Bridge, oh what a night. Whoa, I got a funny feeling when he walks and a fence, and then the commentator yelled he takes that chance.